once again. So today, around 3:30 p.m., the U.S. Marshals responded to assist St. Louis Homicide Unit with the investigation into locating a subject wanted for a homicide. That investigation led them here to the Red Roof Inn and a room in which they believed the subject was occupying. At that time, the marshals ended up giving commands for anyone that's inside the room to please exit the room. They continued in those commands as is protocol for all entries into locations for not only officer safety but for the individual inside safety. We always want people to surrender safely. No one exited the room. They then introduced some gas and some other things occurred, and one subject exited the room. That subject has a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. When they did enter the room, they located another individual inside that room who was suffering from a fatal gunshot wound. No gunshots or firearms were discharged by any law enforcement agent. So what happened inside that room is part of our investigation now. So the Force Investigation Unit is here. They will work alongside the Homicide Division in doing an investigation into what occurred inside that room. There was a firearm recovered from inside that room, and that investigation, like I said, is ongoing. But I'd like to reiterate that the subject who is found that is fatally shot here today is believed to be the suspect in the homicide, and the other individual is suffering from a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. And again, no rounds were discharged by officers or federal agents, and what happened inside that room is an investigation that we will continue.
Did you say, I'm sorry I missed the beginning of this, did you say that this suspect, we're talking about two males?
So there's two males. One is, and they were here looking for an individual, the male individual who is wanted for a homicide.
A recent homicide in St. Louis, or where specifically?
It's a recent homicide that St. Louis City Homicide Division is investigating. That will become part of something we'll release later. We still have an investigation due here on what happened, and I don't want to put too much information out right now.
20s, 30s, 40s, do you know any of that?
I don't want to put that out right now until we get done with this investigation, but it is two males.
Major?
Two adult males.
Major, was city police with them when they went in to execute the search warrant on them?
I do know that U.S. Marshals Task Force is here, and the task force is made up of, there is one city officer who's on the task force, there is U.S. Marshals, and there are probably task force officers from other jurisdictions.
Did any of the officers hear gunshots in the room while they were outside trying to make entry?
That will become part of our investigation. Anytime the Force Investigation Unit does it, we don't ask a lot of those questions here on the scene. We want to make sure that all these interviews are done appropriately, and we will do that as soon as we can.
So what's the connection between, is there a connection between this young guy standing here in handcuffs as we speak?
We have no reason to believe that he has anything to do with our investigation. He did, though.
It's a totally separate thing?
It's a totally separate thing. That he was trying to cross the tape line, and we gave a statement about that. We'll give it to you again.
The man who suffered a graze wound, is he in custody?
He's in custody. He surrendered, and he's with us. The investigation, yes, he surrendered. He went to the hospital, and then he will be with us while we do the investigation to find out how the person suffered a fatal wound and how he suffered a non-fatal wound. So right now,
Where was the graze wound?
on his head.
I know this investigation is early on. Any idea how long these men have been in this hotel room?
No, I have none of that information right now.
Major, the suspect that was injured, was he part of the homicide investigation?
He was inside the room with the homicide suspect, and he is currently, he does have some pending things that we need to investigate. Okay?
Can I just add one more thing? And Robert, if you need more information, we can talk about the 15-year-old that was just taken into custody. But we often talk about our federal counterparts, especially at our press conferences. We talk about them in our quarterly reports and our year-end reports. We have an incredible partnership with our federal counterparts, including the U.S. Marshals. And they have a very difficult job, but they do that job very well when it comes to locating people. And so we value that partnership. I think that, I think Maria, you were there, Robert, you may have been there, when we had that press conference about the individual that needed to be taken into custody that killed Paige Buckner and her mom in North St. Louis. The U.S. Marshals were very diligent in how they were able to find that individual and take him into custody. The U.S. Marshals do a very, very good job when it comes to locating people, and it's a valued partnership that does make our city safer.
And we value the way they do it. You have to understand that they
Go.
have protocols that they follow when they're doing entry. So there was a call out, like I said before, there are a lot of protocols they do, and their entire mission is to get people in custody the safest way possible for not only the suspect, but for the officers. So I want to reiterate, they were called out numerous times, and before they made entry, they did introduce some gas just to ensure that that's how they got the one suspect, the one person to come out. So everything is about getting people to surrender peacefully, and the U.S. Marshals are excellent at that, and that's what their job is.
And that's why you're hearing a lot of the detectives coughing right now. It's because of that gas that's still in the air.
Was that on the second floor? Were they evacuated, the patrons in there?
A lot of times the U.S. Marshals will tell people to evacuate or to shelter in place just so that they can do their job. Okay, but I don't have all of that confirmed right now because I haven't interviewed people. But that is their protocol. Okay.
Robert, did you need information again on the? Robert, did you need information on the? Okay. Do you want to do that now?
He's going to answer that.
So while we were securing our crime scene, there was a 15-year-old who attempted to cross the yellow crime scene tape. There were orders by police officers to get on the other side so we could then further assess where that 15-year-old needed to go. You can see we're regularly escorting people, but you need to be escorted while in a crime scene. That 15-year-old took a swing on a St. Louis police officer. There was a fight between that 15-year-old and that St. Louis police officer, and there was a taser deployed to get that 15-year-old complying with officer orders. He has been taken into custody. You see him in handcuffs. We are in communication now with juvenile courts to determine if juvenile courts will take him or if we're going to release him back to his guardian here at the scene. But not connected at all at this point that we know to our force investigation. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.